Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I did an independent movie review, but after a few days of good food and relaxation, I thought what better time than to upload another review. In a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on the Tubi movie Cries of Desire, starring Nelson Davis. And for this review, I'll provide a brief summary of the movie, followed by what I liked and disliked about it, and I'll end the review with an overall rating. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Cries of Desire follows the story of Jermaine and his wife Ariel. Jermaine is a controlling and emotionally abusive husband who is essentially the sole breadwinner in the relationship. Jermaine often uses his contributions to the household to let his wife Ariel know that he will continue to take care of her as long as she takes care of him, if you catch my drift. The movie takes a turn when Ariel gets into a car accident and we see Jermaine's true nature reveal itself. Jermaine is evil, and he uses this time in his life to cheat on his wife with another woman. Unfortunately, the other woman is pretty nutty, and Jermaine's misdeeds ultimately come back to bite him. Now, even though this was a Tubi movie, I found a number of things that I liked about it, as well as some things that I did not care for. The first thing on my list for what I liked about the movie was the overall story. I can say that in my field of work, it's common to come across people that are in toxic relationships, especially people who have experienced issues with domestic violence, as well as cases of emotional abuse. I'm also familiar with cases in which elderly and disabled population are often victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. So as an overall story, this is a movie that hits home, and in my opinion, it's a story that needs to be brought to light, because I believe that people will be genuinely shocked if only they knew how common some of the things that happen in this movie also happen in real life. Second, I would have to say that I enjoyed the acting performances in the movie. I think that the actors understood the assignment with this movie, and I think that the movie will have the audience crying when certain characters fall in hard times, or happy when other characters get what's coming to them. And lastly, I enjoy the overall theme of the movie, which I believe it to be a movie about karma and how one person's actions can ultimately have unintended consequences. I think this theme is important because the movie does not have a happy ending. Matter of fact, if anything, I would say that this movie is a cautionary tale. And that helped my experience in watching the movie because the story didn't seem very cliche, which was a plus. Now, there were also a number of things that I did not quite like about the movie. First, I want to address my issues with pacing. This movie is well under 2 hours long, but there are a lot of scenes in the movie that I would consider to be the movie version of dead air time. And with that, I mean that there are a lot of scenes where we as the audience are following Ariel or Jermaine, and they aren't really saying or doing much to move the plot forward. This issue may not be a major issue for some, but I like for my movies to have better pacing. Second, I gotta call out the love scenes in the movie. As many of you already know by now, I'm very particular about these scenes. Now don't get me wrong, I could live without seeing a sex scene in a movie, but in my opinion, if a movie's gonna have a sex scene, then it should be authentic. And with the scenes that feature Ariel and Shay, they were either partially clothed or they were covering up, which I can understand that the acting talent is a little shy, but for me, it just makes the scene unrealistic. And third, I wasn't really a huge fan of the ending. Spoiler alert, but Jermaine becomes very depressed with how his actions have impacted his life, and he decides to commit suicide. That's cool and all, but I think a much better ending would have been Jermaine being in a position where he cannot escape the hell that he put his wife through. In my preferred ending, Jermaine would have had to live with his mistakes instead of being able to put an end to his own misery anytime he wanted to. And with honorable mention, I would have to say that I was not a fan of the editing. There were some scenes in the movie where we as the audience have to jump several months in the future, yet the actors look exactly the same in those scenes. I know it's a nitpick for some, but for me, it's just something that could have been improved on. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give Cries of Desire a solid 5.5. As previously stated, I'm a huge fan of the overall story, the acting, and what the movie tried to accomplish, but there were a number of technical mistakes that kept me from considering the movie perfect. Nevertheless, I would still recommend this movie as a must-see for anybody that's on Tubi and looking for interesting movies to watch. But this marks the end of the review. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.